Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Alejandra, and on today's video we are going to be talking about what I do for a living, a traveling CSA, all things travel. I don't want to get too in depth into it because it can be pretty long and confusing, and I am still learning how everything works, like financially, finding the right agency, what all these terms and numbers mean. But to this video, I want to share with you what I know so far. So let's get started. So I became a traveling CSA last year in August of 2021. I was working full-time as a hospital staff. I was actually working 312s. I was working 3 days a week, 12-hour shifts. It doesn't seem that bad. At that time, it was really good. I had multiple days off in a row. I had a really good work-life balance, but at the same time, I was like, I'm missing something. Like, I'm the type of person who can't be at a job for more than a year. A year and a half is probably my max. So after I graduated college, all the jobs I had, I only lasted a year. Like, doing the same thing, being around the same people, I realized that that wasn't for me. So in August of 2021, I started to look at like other career options. Like, I didn't know what I wanted to do like for the rest of my life. Like, I was looking at nursing school. I was looking at the route of becoming a nurse practitioner. I was like, I just felt stuck. And then at the same time, I was like, well, what if I don't even want to work in healthcare? Because I feel like that's all I know. That's all I know, how to work in healthcare. And so I was just exploring my options at the time. I really didn't want to remain in the same situation for the following year to come. So all of a sudden I started thinking about traveling. You know, you hear about travel nurses, but not a lot about travel allied health professionals, which is what I would call us, people who are allied health professionals. So like me, what I do as a CSA, a surgical tech, a medical assistant, a phlebotomist, an ultrasound tech, a pharmacy tech, you know, all these, a respiratory therapist, like those are all allied health professionals, and they all have important roles in healthcare. So I reached out to a traveler that I met 2 years ago who was working at the hospital that I was working, and I just started like asking her questions, you know, like kind of like asking her questions on like what to do next, like who to reach out to. So she gave me a couple of travel agencies to look at, and then I also started searching on Google traveling positions for surgical first assistants. Mind you, not every hospital uses first assistants, so it's not our job. What I do isn't as common as like travel nurses. So travel nurses have a lot more opportunities. Even surgical techs have a lot more opportunities to travel than a first assistant. So I started looking at different agencies. I initially applied to about like 3 or 4 travel agencies, and yeah, I signed on. It took about almost 3 to 4 weeks for me to actually find my first travel contract. I was super nervous. I had about 1.5 years of experience doing what I do, and I wanted to be really careful in letting my recruiter know I can only work in these specialties. I will not do anything else. So the time came for me to start my new contract in September of 2021, and that was a 13 long week contract. And now I am finishing my second one, moving on to my third. So even right now, me looking for a third contract, it is kind of difficult because, like I said, not every hospital uses a first assistant. I want to be in a specialty or specialties that I'm comfortable with. I am a surgical first assistant. I am not certified as a surgical tech or a scrub tech, so I would not be comfortable playing that role if the position that I'm looking at requires me to be an assistant and a surgical tech. So I have to be careful to watch out for that, and I have to let my recruiter know that this is what I want and this is what I'm looking for. Another reason that I wanted to pursue this career as a traveler is because of the money. I thought I was making good money as a first assistant, and starting off, like right after school, I was making annually, let's see if I remember this, $60,000 a year. So if you calculate that, that's about $30 to $31 an hour. So to me, that was like the most money I have ever made. I was so happy graduating school. I was so happy after I graduated school. So then I started to look at these travel contracts, and I was like, oh wow, they're making my bi-weekly paycheck in a week. So when I first started to look at my first assignment, I was like, I don't care how much I'm gonna make. I just wanna get out of here, and I just wanna travel and work somewhere different. So towards the end of my next contract, I was like, wow, I made some pretty good money. And then when I was looking at other places, I was like, I could earn even more than what I'm making now. So I didn't know that each traveling agency pays like differently. What I mean by this is like my first travel company, I was getting paid bi-weekly, every other week. And I was like, I thought I was gonna be getting paid weekly. So I was like, whatever, bi-weekly paychecks, like it is what it is. So the company that I'm with right now, I actually get paid weekly. And the other companies that I'm looking at right now also pay weekly. And I was like, I like this. I like getting paid weekly, getting paid every week. Like it's such a good feeling, and it's such a good way to start your weekend. So just keep in mind that like not every company may be able to pay weekly. So let's talk about money for a little bit. And this is like kind of confusing subject for me because like I mentioned earlier, I'm still learning all the different terms and how all of this works. So currently I get paid weekly, and when you get offered a traveling contract, they separate it by your taxable hourly rate. So like if you would, like for me, like when I was working at my old hospital job, my taxable hourly rate would be $30 an hour. Okay, so when a traveling contract comes through, you see your traveling hourly rate, your meal, your money for your meals every day, or I should say every week, as well as your housing. And I'm trying to think on the top of my head what else is included. On-call pay, and then holiday pay. So all of those numbers are listed in your contract initially, and then you and your recruiter talk about whatever and if you accept it or whatever. So that's how that goes. I will insert a picture of my pay stub to see how you look like with my numbers crossed out. But if you truly want to know what I made, I can definitely message you privately if that information does interest you. So this is just how my paycheck looks, just like your paycheck would look, your pay stub. Being a traveler, you definitely get paid more for doing the same job that you are working at your hospital. It's just an eye-opener to see what these hospitals, what these agencies are willing to pay travelers. Like, I'm really thankful I'm doing this. Like, there's just so many opportunities for me, for nurses, for ultrasound techs, for surgical techs, like all these allied health professionals that feel like stuck at their job, like they're wanting something more, like they're wanting to go out and like explore the country and meet new people. Like there's just so many opportunities out there, and I just can't stress that enough. So like if you feel like you're in that position and you're able to travel, and I would definitely do it. Like I don't see myself working at a hospital anymore because I've just been exposed to this other side of the world, and it's truly amazing. So before I started my first travel contract, I had, like I mentioned earlier, 1.5 years of experience. And every individual is gonna be, different. They're not gonna be comfortable maybe just pursuing a traveling career if they even have like 1 year of experience. So like that does vary from person to person. I felt like I was ready. I just needed to just go out there. You don't, in my opinion, if you're new to the medical field and maybe you want to be a traveler, I would probably maybe recommend 1 year, 1.5 years of experience, and then, just leave. Like, try to learn, try to do as much as you can while working at the hospital, because once you are like on your own, you probably get like 1 day of orientation. Like these hospitals are expecting you to not know everything, but to like know your role and know what to do with little to no guidance. So you definitely have to be comfortable in your skills. Definitely have to be a team player and just be self-motivated. There was another term that I'm thinking of, like a person who like knows what they're doing. Like, I don't know what I'm trying to say. So yeah, get that experience and then peace out. So I really do like being a traveler. It just made me like a better person. It made me a better first assistant, working with different surgeons, working with different people, seeing all these different types of surgeries, all these different techniques of doing things. Like there's just not one way of doing things. So at the contract that I'm in right now, it's different. The hospital is different than what I'm used to because it's actually a surgery center, and they only specialize in thyroid surgery, your thyroid gland. So initially I was really like, I was scared and I was like skeptical because I was like, they did not name the hospital properly, but the hospital just opened. So maybe that's why. So my first day, they're like, oh yeah, we do thyroids. And I was like, what? I've never done thyroid surgery. Like, I think I did a couple times like in the past before, but like every day, all day, I was like, oh my gosh, I was like I was so nervous. But I was on orientation for about 2 days and then I was good. So they put me in parathyroidectomies, which is actually just initially taking out your parathyroid glands, which we have 4, 2 on this side, 2 on this side, 2 on the top, to the bottom. So those surgeries aren't as complicated and in-depth as thyroidectomies and radical neck dissections. So yeah, so now I feel like really comfortable doing those types of surgeries. I wouldn't mind going back in there, but I also like the other specialties. Like I like general surgery, I like doing C-sections, gynae, plastics, and orthopedic surgery. So like I definitely miss those other specialties, and I hope on my next contract I get to work those. And I believe that's all I have for today's video. I hope everything made sense. This is coming from my experience, my opinion on things. I don't know everything about anything because I am still learning along the way as well. But I'm just here to let you know that, it is possible for you. I didn't know that I would be able to do something like this because I was hesitant. I didn't know what I was capable of. So sometimes we just have to like step out of our comfort zone in order to let ourselves know that, you know, we are so much more than what we thought. So like, don't let your thoughts hold you back, because like I know like negative self-talk and all that stuff, like it's not good. So don't let your negative thoughts prevent you from pursuing something that you truly care about. It doesn't have to be healthcare related, but like, you know, just anything in general. Let me know what you thought of today's video. Please let me know if it makes sense, because sometimes it makes sense to me because like I know what I'm trying to say, but like you may not know what I'm trying to say. So yeah, please make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you again for the next video.